Hi, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Too Opinionated, where today I'm so happy and so thrilled to be joined by actress, singer, Suze Lanier-Bramlett. You might have remembered her as an actress going under Susan Lanier when she was starring in The Hills Have Eyes. And, we want to make sure that we point out she was the star. That was such a iconic cult movie. Absolutely wanted to start with that and with talking with you. But let me welcome you first. So welcome, Suze. How's it going?
Fine. It's good to be here in this
Yeah,
in these dark times. you
right.
know.
It's such a let's start there. How are you coping with the staying quarantined and away from everybody?
It's really difficult if I watch the news.
Right.
Now, I discipline myself to only watch it or catch up with what's happening for just a brief period of time during the day. I'm okay. But if I get addicted to it and start continually watching it, I get very depressed because
Yeah.
I feel that uh, they don't know very much, and
Right.
I'm mostly afraid of the unknown. If I knew that they were going to have a cure and everything's going to pop right back to normal, that would be one thing. But I lived a long time on this earth with a certain way of living, and if that changes, um, I hope it's for the best. But it's scary times.
Yeah, it really is. And we've struggled with it. We're lucky enough to be in West Virginia where we've got a lot less of a positive test load right now. But we are quarantined in the houses. We're not supposed to go out except if you're working in a hospital or if you're going to get food, something like that. Otherwise, we're pretty much stuck at home. And I know we've struggled. We've got two new grandchildren, and we haven't we've been Zooming and FaceTiming with them, but we haven't got to spend that quality time. So it's been difficult, and I'm sure everybody's having that type of feeling.
See, I even find that sad, that you don't feel safe visiting with your own beautiful grandchildren. The whole thing is sad. Luckily, uh, I have, well, unfortunately, I had to learn a lot about germs and wound care and stuff like that. And I know how easily uh, the germs can go in the air. So
Right.
I had flown February the 29th was my last time on an airplane, but I wore a mask and gloves on that flight.
Yeah.
And there was just word out about coronavirus. And I thought, better wear a mask and gloves. And I'm so grateful that I did. And I've gone nowhere without a mask and gloves. I've got a
Good.
whole desk full of masks over here. And I don't even take out the trash without one, because even if I'm by myself, because, and I do, I'm alone a lot, and I have a little dog and great neighbors, and, I'm in a complex, but it's, it's different. It's different, you know. It,
Yeah, it's going to take a while to recover.
I
Just
wish I'd bought stock in Instacart,
oh
but
my goodness, right?
or Zoom. I wish I'd bought
Zoom.
stock in Zoom.
Zoom was the who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
I'm sure somebody
Zoom.
did.
Zoom's been around a while. It struggled, and now you can't talk to anybody without being on
Oh,
Zoom. So
yeah,
it,
everybody loves
it
it now.
yeah, what would you do without Zoom?
Uh, Pick up the phone, I guess. Be like
Yeah,
when we were younger and you could actually had to call and talk to people.
that's right.
Yeah.
I actually like it. I've done a yoga class on Zoom that worked out well.
Yeah.
I uh, did a Shabbat on Zoom with about
Wow.
20 people. That worked out well. I did a writing group on Zoom, which worked out well. So I'm really grateful for Zoom during this time. I mean, at least that is a blessing. What if it was 1918?
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
they did. And somebody sent me a picture of the Spanish flu in 1918, and everybody wore white masks back then during that plague. So it's not insane. I don't know if I'll ever take a mask off if I go out in public, even if it's all over with, because who knows when the next one will come.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we're 100 years later and have all this new technology and advancements, but we're basically in the same situation that they were in 100 years ago.
Yes.
I mean, just as far as having to isolate and wear the protective gear when you go out, and it's very very similar. So I don't know what that means, but
it's really weird because show business is shut down. I don't know what happened in 1918. I don't think it was as big of an industry as it is now. Sure. Netflix and Amazon and even the regular networks, nobody can shoot right now. And so all the actors, and that, of course, that's my business, and all the actors are out of work. And I think people are going to have to get creative on how to do it without being so closely, our bodies being so closely together, even after it's over. Unless there's a surefire cure and a surefire vaccine.
It's going to be difficult to do the romantic scenes when we get back. I think they'll have to.
I ain't gonna be kissing nobody. Those days are over. Thank God I'm too old anyway.
Oh, shoot. Well, Suze,
I'm too old to be kissing anybody.
Yeah, I don't believe it. You look like you could step right into one of those roles.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Leave it at that. Hills Have Eyes
let's talk about it. Let's talk a little bit about the Hills Have Eyes. It was one of those movies that did okay at the theaters, but it just over time became such a cult classic. And I was curious if, when you were filming it, did you have any idea that it was, had the chance to kind of become that kind of iconic film?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. I mean, it was just a job I had done. I had worked more than the other cast members on television, but I'd only done one feature film before that. And that was in Dallas before I'd moved to LA. And it was really low budget. And so I was all excited about being able to do a movie of any kind, because I'd done a lot of TV, and I thought, I want to do movies. It just felt more creative to me, and you'd have more freedom to, create. And when Wes cast me in it, I just jumped at the chance because I literally wanted to do a feature film. Yeah. And so I never in my wildest dreams did I think that it would be anything. A few days ago, I opened the mail and somebody had sent me this tote bag.
Oh, look. Oh, that's great.
And I'm on it. I don't know who
it
is that's making them, but I every day something happens with the Hills Have Eyes. And my girlfriend was in Manhattan at the bar, in a really fancy bar in Manhattan before the virus, and she sent me a copy of the drinks menu, and one of the drinks was called the Hills Have Eyes. So
wow.
It's like
you can't get away from it.
You can't get, I can't get away from it. But I'm very grateful for it.
Well, and I was going to say, you were a fairly young actress, when you took that, which was I think difficult to get a leading role at that time, at that age. And you really stepped in and made the role your own. That's one of the things I really like, because just the expressions of emotion and kind of the little things that you can kind of notice if you go back and watch it more than once. I thought was really unique. So it was a really nice job.
Well, thank you. I think that actors need to bring in who they are. how they feel that emotion. My favorite actress in the world is Meryl Streep, but if I tried a million years, I'm never going to be her, and I'm never going to be able to express something like she does. I think she's an absolute genius. And so all I can do if I get cast in a role is to bring me, Suze Lanier, into the part of how I feel that emotion, not how Meryl Streep, who, I wish I could do what she does, and I would just do it differently because it's me,
Right.
And I think that's the actor's job, is to bring in their take, who they are for the role.
Yeah, that's really good. Now, did you know any of the cast beforehand, or did you meet them all on set?
I met them all on set.
Yeah. Still friends with any of them?
I talked to Michael yesterday.
Really?
Michael Behrman and I are very close friends, and he checks on me a lot. He's moved to Florida, so I'm worried. He's worried about me. He said, "I wish you weren't in California," and I said, "Well, I wish you weren't in Florida."
Right. Stay away from the beaches.
Yeah, I mean, he did a music video. I write music, and so he did one of my music videos.
I was going to ask you. It was I've got it here. Watch What You Ask For.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
it's really good.
Thank you. We filmed that and edited it in one day. I mean, 2 days, really. So, I mean, it's just, and that is kind of one of the examples of what I'm saying. People are going to have to get really creative in Hollywood about how you do things, because I'm not sure we'll all be able to be as in close quarters, at least for a long while. So there's going to be a lot of homemade stuff, and that it was all shot on an iPhone. So it was run through an editing bay after that to make it look a little better. But, by and large, I think we're going to have to create things, we're going to have to come up with really creative new ways of doing things.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just to keep people from being in close proximity with each other. I think you're exactly
right. I mean, I hope it's over with, and I wish, the unknown is so scary, because I know Hollywood a certain way,
right,
and everybody does. I mean, it changes year to year on how you cast. Now we sometimes do self-tapings and things like that. But the business continues to evolve and change. It used to be ABC, NBC, CBS, and that was it. Right. When I moved here, that's the goal as an actress, to be on one of those. And now it's like, it's like Netflix and Hulu and all of them, which is wonderful for actors. But if we can't work or go on set, it's going to be weird.
It's going to be really difficult. Well, how did you get started into acting? How old were you?
I was 13.
Yeah, I thought it was young.
I was 13. I always would watch TV shows like Miss America and I would mimic some of the characters on Miss America or Mickey Mouse Club, whatever shows, Roy Rogers, or some of the shows that were on when I was a kid. And I would get in front of the TV so that my sister and brother could only see me. And then I would make fun of the people on TV, and then like make characters up and do weird accents and things. And they would just laugh and laugh and laugh. And I found that very powerful, to be able to make people laugh. My own brother and sister laugh at me, and I like the attention. Yeah. So when I was 13, I was walking in my neighborhood in a park, and I saw a group of people over on the side, and I walked over there. Back then you could walk in the park by yourself at 13. And there was a guy doing a casting session for a play called Winnie the Littlest Witch. And I said, well, can I audition for that? And he said, yeah. And I auditioned, and I got Winnie, the part of Winnie the Littlest Witch. And so I won a big acting award in Dallas that year, and for 13, and I guess that was it. I had the bug. Yeah,
that got you started. That's great. That's a really good story. And we talked to a lot of different actors and actresses, and a lot of times it's just happenstance that they were in the right place at the right time and landed, even if it's a small role, but it kind of sparked them to stay in the business. That's great.
I think once you know, I liked piano. I liked dancing. You know, I think you're either born, like some people are literally born with a very scientific DNA. They got scientific DNA in their genes. And my mother's family had not had great educations, but they were all amazing self musicians. And I
Yeah.
could sit on the front porch in East Texas, where she was from, and I grew up in Dallas, and I would just could sit there for hours and hours and be entertained by them playing the piano or guitars and
Oh yeah.
singing. And I knew, I mean, I guess music was my first love of the arts itself. And then, you know, got into acting, and I do both. So, you know.
Yeah. You're really really talented. I was listening to some of your music, and you've got, you know, you can go on YouTube and catch quite a bit of it, even on
Yeah,
there.
I have a new CD. I haven't formally, an
Yeah,
EP
let's see it.
that I haven't formally released called Allergic to
Oh,
Texas, which you can buy on my Facebook. So
yeah, I
uh,
really like the cover.
thank you. And yeah, you know, that's the one thing about the virus is I don't, as once I start, if I start feeling sorry for myself, which would be because I feel lonely or whatever,
Right.
I go to the piano and just play and maybe write a song, and it just kind of
Yeah.
takes it away. You know, it's a big medicine for me.
Yes,
Music.
therapeutic.
I don't,
That's great. That's I said it's therapeutic. That's really great. It probably is relaxing, you know, to kind of sit down and let your mind go to better things. That's great.
yeah, I was playing last night at like 1:30 in the morning. I was just kind of like, and I couldn't sleep, but I said, I think I'll go to the studio. And I went to the studio and started playing the piano, and it felt so much better, you know. And then I played for about 30 minutes and then went to bed and fell right asleep. So it's really good not to have all the news pounding in my head and
Right.
politics.
What would you, if you had to describe a genre for your music, what would you choose?
Swampy blues, really.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. I like that.
my CD that is on CD Baby or iTunes is called Swamp Cabaret.
Yes.
So it's got tunes of some are funny, you know, and then some are very painful or
Right.
sad or
Right. Yeah.
whatever. And I uh I think swamp music, swamp cabaret. You know, I'm from East Texas are the roots. And then I was married to one of the greatest blues players in the
Yeah.
world, Lanier-Bramlett, who sadly left us in 2008.
Right.
So I didn't need to go to music school. You know, I was married and with Delaney for over 30 years, and we weren't married that whole time, but we were together for over
Yeah.
30 years. And so you know, by osmosis, you just learn it, you know, because he was recording every day of his life.
Well, and I know that that you two you know, work together music,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I can't imagine a better person to just try kind of learn from. You know, he was such a legend, you know, and so good with the rock blues, I guess you would kind of say. But
Yeah, Guitar Player magazine, the February issue, had George Harrison on the cover, and whoever did the interview included all these quotes from George about the influence of Delaney on his own music, and so many pictures and uh, uh, beautiful things that George said about Delaney. And so, you know, he just left us too early. That's all.
yeah,
I,
that's always a shame.
yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. But your music is so wonderful, and agreed. You know, the album that you have out, there's some of the songs are pretty humorous, and then some of them are they're kind of heartbreaking. Yeah,
Well, isn't that life? You
yeah,
know,
it is.
life is funny and life is tragic, and I feel blessed to still be here. So that life is precious, and this virus certainly brings home how quickly we can just not be here anymore.
That's
And
right.
so that's uh I think that's the underlying knowledge that we all get pretty early in life.
Right.
You know, we all know that we're here like a flower, it blossoms, then it goes and whatever. And so I think that's an underlying knowledge that we all live with, that uh, is a little bit hard to, accept sometimes,
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you, because I've got two shows that I'm not sure which one, but one of these I'm almost positive is the first time I saw you on the television. So it's either Welcome Back, Kotter, you played Bambi, or it's you made a couple of appearances on a kids show that I used to watch called Electra Woman and Dinah Girl. So it's one of
Yes.
those two. And you played the best Miss Dazzle, I think was the name on that show. So which one of those came first?
Jesus, I can't
I
remember.
know.
Let's see. Think I think it was Welcome Back, Kotter. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, it's close.
But they were around the same time.
Yeah,
And after Welcome Back, Kotter opened. My first show in Hollywood was Happy Days, and
yes, yeah,
a friend from high school named Bill Bickley, William
yeah,
S. Bickley, was one of the producers of the show with Gary Marshall, and I ended up being friends with the Marshalls, all of them,
yeah.
forever. And so I'd gone to high school with him, and I'd acted with him, and so we had done a lot of acting together in high school in interscholastic league contests. So he invited me to Paramount, and I just to see a set. The second day I was here, the second day I landed, and Henry Winkler came up to me and said, "Hey, who are you?" And Henry said, "Make her my girlfriend." And so I think Bill just wrote me in the show. I'm not sure what he did, but he threw me that bone that I really needed. You have to get that first, break. And so he gave me my first break, which I will always be.
Yeah, that's great. And that may actually have been the first time I saw you, because we were watching Happy Days back then.
Well, Henry's an amazing person personally. And we went out a couple of times after Happy Days. He was my first date in LA.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, the Fonzie was my first date. And he took me to the Imperial Gardens, which was an amazing restaurant that was very popular here. And that night, Barbara Streisand was sitting there, and I thought, oh my God, I have really
You've made it.
This is too good to be true. And so, anyway, he was so sweet, and we just went out a couple of times, but he remembered my son's birthday, and he's just a wonderful man.
He comes across that way.
Mm-hmm.
Even now when he's on Barry, and he was on the show with William Shatner and George Foreman, where they're kind of traveling the globe and stuff. He just comes across as a very just nice person.
He's a great human being, and at the time he was really close to his dad that was always on the set, and I got to meet his father, and then he later on he went on and had his own beautiful family, but he's just a really nice. Everybody on the set, Ron Howard, everybody was lovely. So yeah. Gary Marshall, I think, really knew how to keep people centered and really kind. He was kind.
Yeah, that's great. And I saw, and I didn't know this, but I saw that you had played Chrissy on Three's Company. It was like the second pilot.
Yeah.
But then the role got changed out before it got on air. But it kind of explained that to me.
Well, I think I could write a book on the heartbreak of Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always a bed of roses. And so, everybody, I think from the outside, young girls or boys, it looks so glamorous and it looks
Right.
so easy. And it's not, and it's very political, and you don't know why somebody likes your performance or doesn't like your performance. I felt like for some reason, it didn't, my performance wasn't what Freddie Silverman was looking for. And he recast it with Suzanne. And that's basically the bottom line of it all.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody. And you have to have a very, very strong backbone to survive Hollywood. Over the years, I've taught acting a few times, and very, very few of my students were able to persevere or make it. So it's difficult to make it, and it's also very difficult to stay in the game. And I have been doing it since I joined the union when I was around 17. Wow. Maybe 18, somewhere in there. I've been a union member all those years, and I have a TV show I'm doing on Skype. I'm actually going to a Skype, a real character. I'm playing a senator, and I'm going to be doing a Skype project April the 21st. And there are hopes that it goes to a series. I don't know. And I just did another series in December, a comedy where I play a horny old woman named Ida. And so, listen, they're not, they either make it or they don't.
Yeah,
and so when they don't make it, you just go, well, that was fun. And I have some footage and whatever, It's like you can't take it. Yeah, you got to take your career seriously, but not the business so seriously, or you won't be a happy person.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And that's one of the reasons I'm really happy that I have the music, and now I've started writing, because if nobody's giving you a job, then I can just go do my own thing and still be creative. I don't have to wait for my manager, who's fabulous, to call Eileen O'Farrell. By the way, I'm going to do a shout out to Eileen.
A little shout out, yep.
But anyway, my manager, Eileen O'Farrell, if she doesn't call me with an audition, I don't get upset, and I don't call her and say, hey, what's happening? Because I know that she's going to submit me if I'm right for anything. And as I get older, I'm right for fewer things than I was right for. And so I can still go write a song or write a book or write a script,
Yeah,
so
I love that.
I stay really busy with all that, because I think if you're an artist, you just have to keep creating. And so if one thing fizzles, you do another one.
Well, and you had mentioned that you're also a photographer. So obviously that creative energy is coming out in a lot of different ways.
My daddy in Texas bought me a Brownie camera when I was about 7. And he loved photography. So he wanted me to share that passion. And I forgot all about that until a first cousin of mine, Vicky, sent me a picture. And I was running around the yard. I was still young enough not to have to wear a shirt in Texas in the hot Texas heat.
Yeah.
And I had this little Brownie camera in my hand, and I was taking pictures of everything. And my daddy would take the film to the store and then get it developed. And I was doing that at 7 or 8, and I never stopped. It was So there were some years where my career was in the toilet. And so, I'm just going to be open about it. Just not much was happening. And part of that was my fault. You've got to stay visible. You've got to keep your foot on the accelerator. And sometimes you burn out and need a break. And I bought equipment and started shooting headshots first, and then started shooting models, and then I started shooting commercial stuff in New York, Paris, London, and that was a whole different career. But I'm really happy about that career because the shooting, the shooting is hard work. It's very physical. So, but the knowledge of what that brought me of lighting and setting up and tripods and equipment and stuff is very helpful if I'm shooting something or directing something or doing these Zoom things, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we talked about that, off air, just the fact that, you know how you want everything set up. You can kind of tell if it's not exactly the way you want it. So yeah. And you did a terrific job.
Well, one of the things about the business is that I don't think that actors will be, because already there were to audition for a show, NCIS or something like that, they were accepting self-tapes from your house, right? You'd audition on camera from your house. And that was called EchoCast. So many of the casting directors were letting us do it from home and send in our best performance. Yeah. A really good advantage if you know what you're doing. And so because the air in Los Angeles has cleaned up so much with no pollution on the 101 and the 405, right? A lot of the casting is going to be done. I don't think it'll ever go back to in office where you have to drive to Paramount and park,
I don't know why it would. Yeah.
20 blocks away when you can see what I can do right here. And either I'm your girl or I'm not your girl, That's know?
That's right. Yeah, that's really good. So I wanted to ask you, because I love the behind the scenes type of stuff. So I may already know this answer, but we always ask is there a role that you didn't get that turned out to be something large that you kind of feel like you missed out on?
Mm-hmm. I auditioned for Carrie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you made a great Carrie.
I auditioned for Carrie with Brian De Palma, and I did not get Sissy Spacek got it. And that was pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah. You'd have been very good in that.
I would love to have played that part.
Yeah.
I would love to. Yeah, that would have been.
There's always something. Everybody we've talked to has had some story that they're like that. I was close, but just didn't get it.
Yeah, I got close. I also got close with Once Upon a Time in America with Robert De Niro, and I met with De Niro 2 or 3 times and did some improvisation with him. He's literally amazing, and Sergio Leone was in the room, and that was a big deal. And the day that I was there at the Chateau Marmont is the day that John Belushi passed away.
Oh wow! Wow!
So, and he passed away. I was right there at the Chateau Marmont, so where he died. And so, yeah, I didn't get that part either. I mean, I've auditioned.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's some really good stories, and I hate that about John Belushi. That's awful. I mean, you'd never forget it. But yeah, what a great story, and I can't get over the fact that you could have been in that movie with Robert De Niro and played Carrie, which I think you would have been great in both of those roles. Who can I call to get that straightened out?
It's a little late.
So the other question, I was going to say, the other question I wanted to ask you was, they remade Hills Have Eyes, and did you get a chance to visit the set or to have a part in that movie?
No, but Delaney and I both attended the red carpet premiere of that movie. And what's her face, Emily DeRaven, and I, who played Brenda, my role that I originated.
Yeah.
Anyway, Emily DeRaven and I had a lot of nice pictures taken together, and she was lovely. And Delaney had written music for one of the producers of that was connected to the team of Hills Have Eyes 2.
Right.
And I mean the remake. And so he enjoyed going to that red carpet. We had a really good time there. And we sat through the movie, and you know, I have nothing, but I thought Emily was fine.
Yeah.
I think the rawness of was so missing, and you know, it's not nice for me to say I think ours was better, but
I'll say it. I thought yours was better.
thanks. I was a little put off with some of the special effects of the new one. It just took away from the raw tension.
Agreed.
That the original had. I thought, you know, it was too gimmicky.
Really tough to improve on the original most of the time anyway.
You know, there's so many wonderful writers in Los Angeles and and all over the world. I mean, if you're a writer, you can live in Timbuktu, you know, and why they keep remaking certain things that were so perfect the first time. Little Women, for instance. I mean, I have not seen the remake, but there's so many really cool versions of that, and there's certain movies that just should not be remade. They should remain in their beautiful classic,
agree.
Perfection. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You know, that there's so many new things to film and create.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Well, Suze, this has been terrific. Absolutely love speaking with you, and really appreciate you giving us the time today. Not that there's a whole lot going on, but but I really appreciate it.
Question. I have one question for you.
Oh yeah, hit me.
From East Texas, because you know my grandmother.
I was going to say I don't. Oh really?
Elsie Wall. That's a family name for me.
How they spell it?
W-A-L-L.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe I do, because it's rare to find Wall without the S. Most people say Walls.
Nope, Elsie Wall was my grandmother. We may be cousins. Have you done your 23andMe?
You know, I haven't. My wife has done it, and I'm next, I think. We may be.
You might find that we're cousins.
Did I see that you're also related to Tennessee Williams?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I hope we are cousins.
Not on the Wall side.
Oh.
The Lanier side. Yeah, his Tennessee Williams' name is Thomas Lanier Williams, and my grandfather was Thomas Lanier, and my brother's Thomas Lanier, and so I worked with him in Night of the Iguana at the Amundsen Theater. I played the Sue Line role, and he was just amazing in person and to work with. So yeah, I've been very blessed with some
awesome good genes. That's
awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, now that I think about it, Elsie, is that he said Elsie Wall?
Elsie Wall was my grandmother.
We've got some Elsies in the family. I might have to check that out. Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Okay.
I might have to have a reunion.
Do 23. I'll just pop right up, I bet, as your cousin.
All right. I'm willing to do it. Well, so Suze, if our viewers and our listeners want to find you, where can they find you, and give us the place where they can purchase your CDs as well?
Okay, well, on my Facebook, I have a page where I know this one is up for sale.
Yeah.
I think there's only 5 songs. I think it's $9. I don't know. And then this one is available on iTunes. I don't think I pushed the button to sell this on iTunes yet, but maybe I did. Allergic to Texas, Swamp Cabaret. I'm at Suze Lanier-Bramlett on Facebook and on my fan page, and Suze Lanier on Twitter, and Suze Lanier on Twitter, at Suze Lanier on Twitter, and Instagram for sure.
Of course, you gotta have Instagram.
Lanier-Bramlett on Instagram, yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. So you're all over the place.
Yeah, and I just joined a director just said, you got to be on TikTok. So I haven't figured that one out yet.
Well, let me know if you do, because I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't think I'm in the mood to do TikTok these days. What I want to sign off with is that I hope everybody is really safe.
Yes.
And wear masks and wear gloves and try not to get sick. And I hope this is over soon. And I certainly send everybody love and peace.
Yeah, I think that's a terrific way to sign off. So thank you again, Suze, for being a guest today. And we will talk with everybody again real soon.